Hello and welcome to Kelson's Thoughts, where we go where our minds takes us. And today's topic, a rather controversial one, where we'll be discussing the Broadcasting Commission's decision to ban quote-unquote scamming music, right? Do I agree? Do I disagree with the decision? And what is the consensus of artists and the public alike? Firstly, the public is mixed. You have quite a bit of people that are saying they're in full agreement, as there is a time and place for certain music, and the public airways, the broadcasting commission, have a full right to ban it from there. You should not be going about in public transportation hearing certain music being played with your children, depending on your religious background and so forth, which that is one side of it. While some are also saying they do not support it and they think it's another way for the government to use dancehall music as a scapegoat, which both sides have valid points. Jamaican government tend to have the tendency to use dancehall music as a scapegoat for almost any and everything that they can any chance they get to use it as a scapegoat, they take it, right? While the other consensus is also valid, where there's a time and place for everything. Also, in the side of the artists and the producers and DJs and so forth, I realize a lot of them are saying that they don't support it because the government have fight them, and typically, and the movies are not being banned. And to that I say, you're being hypocritical, and you're deliberately refusing to see the truth that is in front of you. For example, Broadcasting Commission has control over, for example, TVJ and CVM. You do not see certain movie being played on TVJ or CVM, right? And then in general, movies are rated. Music isn't. So certain movies are not being played for children to consume. If that child is to go out of their way now and get access to that movie, well, that's a different conversation. So what the Broadcasting Commission is doing now is, if that child goes out of his or her way to listen the chopping music and the gun music and so forth, well, that child, that conversation needs to be had differently. That child needs to consult with their parents, and it's not your responsibility. But let it not be said that the government did not ensure that these musics were not, some form of restrictions were not put on them, right? It's kind of like you buying a child a tablet and just giving it to them, and then when you realize that they're watching something that is not for their consumption, you're going to get upset. But they did not go ahead and put any age restrictions on the tablet, so you can't necessarily blame the child. You as the parent should have made the necessary precautions to safeguard the child, right? I see the situation where they're also saying that music no influence, and that's a downright load of foolishness. Music does influence, and no more studies needs to be done. Studies have been done from years and years to this day. Studies are being done over and over, and it has been concluded that though music is not a direct force that's going to push someone to do something, it is very influential. There's a correlation between your actions and the type of music you listen to. Example, have you ever been driving and you realize you're listening to a certain type of music and all of a sudden you start drive faster? I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but it happened to me more than once, where I'm driving and a certain type of music come on my radio, and it's like it gives you a boost. And before you know it, you're driving way faster than you initially was driving, right? Studies also were done and the results are shocking because it showed that young men are more influenced towards violence in music while young women are influenced by the sex in music. So young men will be more influenced to go off and commit a crime, while young ladies will be more influenced to go off and be promiscuous. Neither of those situations are good. And I don't think I need to even say it at this point. You should know that by listening to the video so far, you'd have understood that I fully agree with the Broadcasting Commission. Certain music needs to be banned. And all the artists need to do, if you want to get back your music on the airways, just be creative. They were very, 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 very direct and specific about what they didn't want on the airways. Any music about drugs, harmful drugs to be exact. Example we're given, Molly. No music that glorifies or indicate any form of criminal activity, right? So, and then no music that glorifies scamming. I don't get it. So what's the problem? If it's only those three things, right? It shouldn't be an issue. You should be able to be creative and sing about something else. I mean, I've heard a lot of Jamaicans have been saying it. People in general have been saying it. The music has become infested with scamming music, gun music, and singing about women and money. You can sing about something else. I am 100% sure that our artists are very talented and have the capabilities to sing about other things. The artists love to use the scapegoat as to say that, because they say the government are using them as a scapegoat, while they use this idea as a scapegoat as to say that music is a reflection of their environment. And I think it was one of the twins brothers did a video the other day and they made a very good point. If that was the case and the artists are doing music which reflects their environment, majority of Jamaicans are poor, why aren't they singing about poverty? Majority of Jamaicans are not scamming. And the contrary is a very small percentage of Jamaicans that are actually involved in scamming. So if you're singing about your reflection, majority rules, so you should be singing about what the majority is facing. So with that as the guideline, then artists should be singing more music about poverty and the hardships of poverty. Get me, I say? So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and tell us that the Jamaican government have not been hypocritical, because the same one, when the last election, they used the same chopper music as promotions for their elections, right? So they're hypocritical. So are the artists. Could they have went about it a better way? Yes. Did they? No. The facts still remain. I agree with it. I can't be in a public transportation with my 5-year-old son. I don't have a child, by the way, but nonetheless, it's an example. I can't be in a public transportation with my 5-year-old son and hear an artist singing about how he shoot a man and him marrow fly out. I mean, if that taxi man decides him to play him own music from his phone or YouTube or whatever, fine. But at least I have the decision to say, yo, why not the taxi here, let me out. But as long as that taxi man is going to play a radio station, I can be assured that I will not be thrown into those type of music, or rather those type of music being thrown into my ears. And that's the video. Have a wonderful and productive day.